Virat Kohli is not walking through that door. Rohit Sharma is not walking through that door. Yuvraj Singh is not walking through that door. MS Dhoni is not walking through that door.
The issue for India is this minus 3.8 net run rate.
Yeah, that's like
If the West Indies beats South Africa, India are basically out.
good fast bowling translates everywhere. You need that one like all-time
You need that one all
great.
time. Yep.
You need one
Batter.
all. You need that one
And take
all-time.
over a game. That's the
Yeah,
thing that in T20, when you only have 120 balls, you get one
yeah.
batter that's an all-time great and he can take over the game. Welcome to Over and Out. I'm Saad Raza. With me is Mustafa Siddiqui, and hopefully Aziz Khwaja will be joining us soon. So, two very relevant, very interesting games today after yesterday's washout. Let's start with England Sri Lanka. So, this was in Kandy, which is important because Pakistan has the next two games of it in Kandy. England batted first, 146 for 9. Struggled to make it, but post-match, a lot of folks were saying that there was probably a par, maybe slightly above par score. Phil Salt, 62 of 40, and then Will Jacks really at the end, 21 of 14. The story in this to me was Sri Lanka just absolutely melting down in the power play. They lost 5 wickets in the power play for 34 and then just really petered out to 95 all out. A pretty heavy defeat. Um, and the net run rate took a massive hit. And
Yeah.
this is important because remember, both Pakistan and Sri Lanka, Pakistan and New Zealand have the advantage that they actually have a point now above. So effectively, Sri Lanka is not just 2 points in their arrears, but probably 3 points in their arrears because they have to overcome that net run rate as well. Will Jacks, of course, with the ball, 4 wickets as well. So not the best England, but this is, as we've discussed many times, this is a dangerous side because they can get hot at any moment. And their bowling still isn't all that. Sri Lanka, for some reason, they just weren't at the races today. Your thoughts?
I just think Sri Lanka, as we have talked about it for the entire tournament, is a very temperamental side. It's very hot and cold. Their batting is extremely hot and cold, and their bowling without Hasaranga is still a little like it's still weak. Yes, it has gotten the job done so far in the group. It got in the group stages, but like it has been suspect. We have been suspect of about Sri Lanka for the entire tournament, and as it was shown today, if Nisanka and Mendes do not fire for them, their batting lineup completely collapses. Like
Yeah, they're in trouble then.
it's so dependent on those two players holding it together. If one of them, if both of them do nothing, even if one of them does nothing, they're in trouble. And that's what you saw today. For England today, we do need to talk about how Josh Butler has not looked like himself for the entire tournament, and that is it will eventually rear its head and it's eventually going to be a problem for them because I love Josh Butler. I think Josh Butler is one of the greatest white ball batsmen I have ever seen. It is just that he is now
He's not at
35.
he just hasn't been at the races in many innings.
Yeah, and like it might be better to maybe play another all-rounder and move Bethel up to opener or play another opener. But then again, Butler is also your wicket keeper, so we will see we will see what was happening. Again as well, it was good to see Orchard in the wickets, which I think they've been lacking, even though they were kind of weakish wickets. Adil Rashid getting back into the wickets and controlling the play is very good for them because, as I have said for multiple times before, the only thing that's keeping Baz McCullum at the job is Adil Rashid because like he's single-handedly pulling England's bowling together and like he's so important to them.
And of course, Jim Ratcliffe wouldn't want Adil Rashid being in the England team, but we
Yeah.
digress. Let's move to the second game, the more important game. In Ahmedabad, India against South Africa, the two class teams from the group stages, you'd say. South Africa batted first, and they were under the cosh, 3 wickets, lost 3 wickets in the power play. But in the middle over, Brevis, 45 of 20 odd, Miller, 63 of 35, Stubbs, 44 of 24. And they had multiple overs between that in that consolidation phase where they were getting 10 runs per over, 11 runs per over, 12 runs per over. And sure enough, they put up, a score that I think was daunting. You set that up and then 188 and you say to the other team, okay, go ahead and score 9.5 runs per over, chasing. So let's see if you can do that. And I give India credit, sorry, South Africa credit because they did that despite Bumrah basically as a cheat code, 4 overs for 15 runs. So the majority of and even Arshdeep, if you look at it, 4 overs for 28, they basically, if you remove Arshdeep and Bumrah's over, they took the rest of India's bowlers basically for almost 12 runs and over, which is very hard to do.
Mm.
And again, this goes to how you compare South Africa's middle order and how they basically plundered India for runs to our middle order, where it seems we just get stuck and unglued. Let's talk about South Africa and their approach in the first inning before we get to the second innings. Your thoughts?
So first things first, it is great to watch David Miller's progression and from being basically just a pace hitter at the end to an all-around T20 batsman who can play the anchor role, who can hit spinners, who can hit pace, who can if the wicket's in the power play, he can reconstruct the innings, and he's just such a clutch player to have. And their batting, like even Brevis, man, Brevis is so good for being so young, and if it was basically 20 for 3, correct? Yeah, they were 20 for 3. For any other side,
Yep. They
especially
had a
in
100-run partnership,
they had a
almost
hundred,
a 100-run
almost
100-run partnership.
100 run partnership, but you also have to take into account it's Ahmedabad. There's a
Yep.
80,000
No,
Indian
they
for
held their nerves wonderfully. And
it.
and again, the pace of the innings, taking 10, 11, 10, 11. That's
Yeah,
how you get to almost 190 when
yeah,
you're 20 for 3. That's a
exactly.
good score.
It's 1-9. These are not knockout matches, but they're basically knockout matches where one game loss can completely derail your tournament. And you know, and Miller is going to be so valuable to them because he's played for so long. He's been in so many T20 leagues. He's done it before, and he's been doing it for ages, and he's arguably doing it better than he's ever done it before. And he's still, and like also to take into account, Aiden Markram, who's been in the form of his life, got out cheaply, who's been their best batsman this tournament. Quinton de Kock, also one of South Africa's greatest white ball openers, also got out cheaply. Ryan Rickleton, who's also done well this tournament, also got out cheaply. It didn't matter. They still put up 190-ish. That's something to behold. But also another thing that needs to be talked about. Varun Chakravarti was hit out of the park. Hardik
4 overs for
Pandya
47.
4 overs
Gave
for
up.
40. Yeah, Hardik Pandya 45 runs. Shivam Dubey, who is not Shivam Dubey has been asking to be hit out for the entire tournament, and I'm finally happy someone did it. He is he is someone you should be targeting. When you if you're a good enough side, you should be targeting Dubey. You can't let India get 1 or 2 overs of Dubey and let them get
Yeah.
away with it.
Because Bumrah puts so much pressure on you that that it's very hard to just basically you have to take into account the overs you will lose from scoring against him, and you have to take that into account. So, for example, if you look, he bowled. I think they brought him on slightly earlier, but he bowled the 19th over.
He bowled the second over and the fourth
Right.
over,
And
and then
and then he brought 15th and 7th. No, 16th and
16th,
19th, I think.
yeah, 16 and 19, something like that. But
But they were smart. They didn't give up too many. They didn't score runs off him, but they kept wickets in hand. And sure enough, what they did was in that last over, they scored 20 of Pandya
yeah,
to
and
take it to 187
180.
or 188.
Yeah, great hand by Tristan Stubbs as well. Great game planning on that. Also, like if it was any other bowler than Bumrah, if it was any other fast bowler in the world than Bumrah, this score would have been about 210 to
Oh
215.
yeah, easily. They
It's
were heading
yeah,
that way.
it was going to be
They
that
pulled
score.
it back.
Yeah, you also have to take account if it was any other bowler but Bumrah, they don't get those 2 wickets, those two
Right.
extra wickets in the power play as well.
No,
You could have been looking at such a massive score here. Now, onto the batting.
onto the betting. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm going to go into the vault for this one. Virat Kohli is not walking through that door. Rohit Sharma is not walking through that door. Yuvraj Singh is not walking through that door. MS Dhoni is not walking through that door. Like
Who is it to give us extra credit? Who is it that said those things?
Panito, the Boston Celtics
Yeah,
scorer,
Patino, Rick
Pati-
Patino. There we
Rick
go.
Pitino.
Very well done.
I know my by sports history. So the thing is, we have been uneasy about this Indian batting lineup because I think they have the highest ceiling in the tournament. If you know what I mean. If everything's good, all running on off full cylinders, they're the most deadliest batting lineup in the tournament. But I'm uneasy if on the pitches that they are, there's a bit of spin, a bit of swing, like there was today. And if they lose wickets early, what will happen? And that's what we saw today. And another thing that we need to talk about, and this is very valuable to talk about, Surya Kumar Yadav has played 109 matches. Okay, in tournaments against test playing sides, he has played 23 matches. So that is Afghanistan, Australia, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, New Zealand, South Africa, England,
England.
and yeah, so those people, right? So his overall career is like he averages 37 with a strike rate of 165 in matches against test playing nations in tournaments. That is 23 games. Yes, you might say it's 1/5 of his overall record. It's still
But
23 games.
it's not a small sample size.
It's
It's
not
a
a
decent
small
sample
sample.
size.
It's a very decent sample size, taken over four different T20 World Cups now. He is averaging 23 at a strike rate of 130. Like, there is a reason why people call him a minnow basher.
There is, but even that striker of 130 is still better than Babur's,
No,
for
no, I'm not going to
example.
deny that. We're not even. I'm on your side with Babar, but this is the thing that needs to be. No one's talking
Yeah, no,
about.
he's definitely a I mean he is a big match player, but for some reason against Pakistan, if you look at India-Pakistan
Yeah.
matches, he hasn't really done much. He's Haris Rauf has gotten him out, Shaheen's gotten him out, so on and so.
Naseem's got him
Yeah.
out as yeah.
People
Uh,
have gotten him out for cheap. The one other thing I'll give South Africa credit to, it was very evident that if you bowled slower
hmm,
and took advantage of the wide boundaries on the onside, as when a right-handed batter would bat, you can basically make it very difficult. That's exactly what South Africa did. A lot of balls off pace, a lot of balls back of the hand, a lot of balls into the wicket, and India could just never get going, and they just needed that momentum to just basically, and they could never generate that forward momentum, and they kept losing wickets. They could never build that partnership.
yeah,
The issue for India is this minus 3.8 net run rate.
yeah. That's like
If the West Indies beats South Africa, India are basically out because their net run rate is going to be. I just don't see them
yeah.
overcoming that.
It's so even if they win these two matches, right? It's not a guarantee they get through.
Correct.
It's not a
Because of
guarantee.
how much their net run rate is taking a hit.
Like
Not only that, but if you look at the way South Africa batted today,
yeah,
the West Indies and Zimbabwe will have a blueprint now that with Bumrah, the goal has to be reduce its damage limitation,
hmm,
basically. Avoid losing wickets and try and even if you go try and get 5 runs and over against him, but you don't lose wickets, that's
it's good.
fine.
It's a good
It's good
job.
enough.
It's good
It's a
enough.
good enough job. Correct. Just do that. And you could put on a score that makes it challenging. And I would bat first against India every time because even
Yeah.
though there is dew and there was a significant amount of dew today,
Hmm.
I think there is scoreboard pressure there.
Yeah, and I just like it's there's already extra pressure because of the event of the match. Like it's going to do that. But back to this game. This game also proved one more thing that we've been talking about all tournament. Good fast bowling translates everywhere. And this is something that needs to be talked about. And this is also a weakness of good fast bowling and good swing fast bowling will get any batsman out. And Doesn't matter if you're Sehwag, it doesn't matter if you're Tendulkar, it doesn't matter if you're Lara. If you have good fast swing bowling, it night 50 there's a 50 to 75% of the chance you're nicking one off or you're clipping one to the wickets. It's as simple as that. And these South Africa is so scary because of that, because you don't have one, you have four, probably, like you have at
Multiple
least,
options.
yeah, you have multiple options, but you have Hansen, Rabada, and Ningini, who are all like world class fast bowlers. Maybe Rabada not so much in the limited formats, but definitely in tests. And then you also have Corbin Bosch, who is such a handy cricketer, who is still bowling at 140 and like is tall, and he gets you that awkward bounce. Like he's a like Hansen as well. Like they have such variants of their attack as well, because you have Hansen, who's that classical left arm swing bowler. Then you have Kaziso. You have Rabada, who is basically like if you're Michael Holding, perfect fast bowler created in a lab. Then you have Ningiri, who can do the slower ones. Then you have Corbin Bosch, who's your hit the deck bowler. There's such variants of attacks.
And then, of course, you still have decent spinners in Keshav Maharaj and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah,
very balanced team, and they fielded really well as well. I know
yeah,
that Miller had that dropped catch
yeah.
off Dubé, but they did give them credit. They from a how do you approach a game against India, they handled it really well. AZ just sent us a message. Doesn't look like he's going to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Let's talk about the washout yesterday.
I just
Go
want to talk
ahead.
about, yeah, I just want to talk about one more thing about India. So T20, so every T20 World Cup has been won with one kind of all-time great batsman in their lineup, right? In 2024, you had both Sharma and Kohli. In 22, you had Joss Butler and a lot of the English batting. In 21, you had David Warner, Steve Smith. David Warner is still one of the greatest T20 batsmen to ever play the game. In 2016, you had Chris Gale. In 2014, you had Kumar Sangakkara and what's his other Dilshan as well. In 2012, you had Chris Gale again. In 2010, you had Kevin Peterson. Like you need that one like
You
all-time
need that one all
great.
time. Yep.
You need one
Batter.
all. You need that one
Can take
all-time.
over a game. That's the
Yeah,
thing that in T20, when you only have 120 balls, you get one
yeah.
batter that's an all-time great and he can take over the game.
He could, and it's just like I don't like as good as India's batting is. I don't know if they have that all-time batter in their lineup. Like Ishan Kishan's good, but like I don't know. Like he's performed well. I'm not going to deny that. Abhishek Sharma is probably the most dangerous batsman in the world, T20 batsman in the world. But at the same time, Amir is like somewhat right that he is basically a slogger, and that if you have a bit of movement, it's going to be a problem for him.
Yeah, some of his approach today and his shots that he were taking was someone of just trying to force the situation,
Yeah,
force himself
yeah,
back into form.
yeah.
He was basically there were wild swings from him.
Then you have Tilak Varma, who I've been criticizing the entire tournament for not holding the team together at all. Surya Kumar Yadav, I've already gone over how he is he's not performing against the big teams. Washington Sundar is an all rounder who is a decent with the bat, but he's not
He
a.
is, but once you reach that point in the lineup, then none of them are really,
Yeah,
they all have holes in them.
you maybe have Pandya, who is a fantastic finisher, but at the same time, you only have Pandya. Pandya is good for the last 5, 6 overs of the game. He can't really take over a game like when you get into like this type of situation. You need like that one all-time batter in the top four who can do this, right? And I just don't think India has that.
These
Yeah,
are all very fair points, and it'll be interesting to see how they pick themselves up
yeah,
in the next two games, and especially how tomorrow's game, just the one game tomorrow, Zimbabwe West Indies
yeah.
do.
That
Because if it's a close game, then it actually hurts India more because the net runner
every
in either
single
team will take
game
a
in this
shot.
every single game in the Super Eights is now blown wide open because of the
Yep.
rain yesterday, and the India loss today. Now every possible combination of teams going through is on. Like
Correct. So let's come to yesterday, and we
uh,
asked this question before. How much independence and freedom does Mike Hesson have to make decisions? because if he does have independence and freedom, some of his
Yes.
decisions yesterday were absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I mean, the to win the toss and choose to bat when you knew this is going to be a rain-affected game, and you know the benefits of batting second if you have
DLS.
Duckworth-Lewis um, method. Um, that's and then to choose in that sort of game, when you know it's rain affected, why at that point have Babur? What's the point of Babur? You've already came out in your statement and said, well, we can't really play him at the end and we can't really play him in the beginning. Well, in a rain affected game, there is no middle. It's
Yeah.
all end and beginning. It's a power play and then it's death overs.
Yeah.
Um, and then dropping a brar when especially, and we'll come to this. We'll come to the candy weekend, what we can learn. Um, just some of the decisions are just oof.
Yeah.
Ruben Amorim level decision makings.
God. So, firstly and foremost, it is becoming abundantly clear with Mike Hesson's press conferences that to a certain extent he's being forced to play Babur in the lineup. The way he is saying, "Oh, we can't put him in the power play because he has a 90 strike rate against in the power play. That's horrible. We can't play him there, and we can't play him against left arm spin because he can't play left arm spin. He constantly gets out." It's very obviously that he's making it very apparent to every single person in the world. I do not want Babur in the team. I am being forced to play him.
Yeah, he's pretty
Yeah.
much come out and said that because it's he quoted his stat of basically being under 100 in strike rate in the World Cup, and then he also said, well, we don't really want him at the end either. Well, then where do you want
You
him?
want, yeah, exactly. And like everything that Babar does, Fakhar Zaman can do and better, right? And aside from that, dropping a Brar who is your who's been the second best T20 bowler in the world. He's ranked number 2 in the world right now and has basically held together your lineup for the last 2 years is absolutely like it's not merit. This is not a meritocracy by the seems by the looks of it now. Maybe it never was. Another thing is I just do not know. You cannot go into into a tournament, into a match with only two specialist bowlers when you're muted. Two
Seamer, sorry.
yeah, yeah, two special no two specialist bowlers because the
Oh,
only two
bowler, sure.
yeah because you only have
Non-all-rounders.
yeah you have Shaheen and you have sorry you have
Mirza.
Mirza and Usman Tariq who are your
Yeah,
two bowlers.
bowlers. Yeah.
Then you're asking 12 overs out of Fahim, Shadab, Nawaz, and Saim. That's asking a
And
lot.
or Agha plus
Or
spinners.
Aga.
But that's way too many overs from lesser bowlers who could get in a Super 8 final can
Yeah,
absolutely get
that's what
smashed.
that's what we've been saying for the entire tournament. It's I would rather
You have to drop one of Shadab or Nawaz. You have to
yeah
drop an all-rounder. That's really what you need
or
to do.
you just like you just drop Babar and you play another bowler because he's
Yeah.
obviously like yes you're batting still till 8 like that and you get like you get Naseem into the team and it's very obvious that you need Naseem for Candy.
He needs to bring balance back into the squad, and it's
Yeah.
not balanced. And dropping Barber would at least be the first step towards achieving balance. You mentioned Candy. Let's go there. What did you learn about the Pallekele Stadium in Candy and that pitch from the England Sri Lanka game?
It's very slow. It's like it's very slow. There's turn and then there's also a bunch of swing. There was a bunch of swing in the first 4 or 5 overs. Like it was legitimately hooping. And like we don't know what type of pitch they're going to give us. Like this was a 2:30 game, I believe. Our game against England is a night game, so it might
Yeah,
even
they're
swing.
they're both even they're both evening games.
Yeah,
And I think when we were expecting flatter wickets, you may not see them to be as flat decks. I think these will be more games where if you get 160,
yeah,
that's a very good score.
and it's becoming apparent now if this is how the all the wickets now. Like the two wickets we're going to be playing on is which is Colombo and Candy. They're becoming abundantly clear. We have to bat first on each wicket because it's these are bat first wickets. like you like 160, 170 is almost impossible to chase on these right
Because
now.
the wickets really are slowing down in the second over,
Yeah,
and that slowdown basically is overcoming any dew factor that might be there.
yeah, and
So,
even like even I don't think the Jew hasn't really come into play at all this
it
entire
wasn't there
tournament.
was it was there today. The commentators mentioned it, but again, I don't see it. It obviously didn't affect the South African bowlers.
Yeah, because like also another thing that is very important for the South African bowlers, they're mostly fast bowlers. So like when you have mostly fast bowling, the do the effect of do does get less. It's more going to affect your wrist spinners, even
The finger
fingers,
spinners, especially the finger spinners.
especially the finger spinners, right? Your wrist spinners can maybe survive, but your finger spinners cannot. And the thing is, you're like it is what it is, but like I do think you need to play another fast ball. Like you do. Like it is actually like it's very stupid to go into this tournament, as it has been proven by South Africa today, as it has been proven by West Zimbabwe as well, by West Indies as well, by even India today as well. Good fast bowling translates everywhere.
No, they need some balance in that lineup, and I think the easiest way to do that is to drop Babar for, um, I would say Naseem, not
Yeah,
Shaheen.
yeah,
Again, I think you need that control.
yeah, yeah.
You
Naseem,
do that, and try and bring Abrar back in. I somehow I don't see them dropping Shadab, although that should be the decision they make because you don't need Shadab Nawaz. And
yeah,
and I think Abrar, especially against the likes of England and Sri Lanka,
yeah.
can really basically hold them at bay. All right. Thank you again.
Should we
We
preview
will.
tomorrow's matches?
Sure. So tomorrow's just the one game, the West
Yeah.
Indies and Zimbabwe.
Mm.
Again, whichever team wins is definitely in the driver's seat to get a foot
Yeah.
in the semifinals. And as you can see in the other group, there are no real world beaters. And so a foot in the semifinals means you're a hop, skip, and a jump away from
Yeah.
potentially playing a final.
Because like whoever is gonna come out of this, so India cannot play Pakistan in the
No,
semifinals.
they can. They can. They
No, no,
can.
no, no, no. It has been stated that India will play their semifinal in India. That's it. I think
No,
that.
I was reading that thing. That is only the case if Pakistan does not qualify for the semis.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Otherwise, India could play Pakistan in the semis. But at this point, one semifinal is almost certainly South Africa unless they
Yeah,
collapse.
I don't,
And
but I don't
so
see
for
that
West Indies,
happening.
I don't see that happening. I think they'll beat either Zimbabwe or the
Yeah,
West Indies. And then the other one is there for the taking for the West Indies or Zimbabwe,
yeah,
especially if it's a close game tomorrow. They don't actually need to beat India. They just need to basically not lose by a lot.
yeah. Even if like if tomorrow, let's say West Indies completely rout Zimbabwe, India's under so much pressure then.
Yeah.
Like they are under so much pressure then, because now you are then now the run rate is a big problem there. Now you would have to beat West Indies, and you would have to beat Zimbabwe, and by a lot. Like it is.
It's become a challenge. I don't think they expected. I I think if you lose, the trick is to not lose that badly. And I think at the end of the game, that's what Shivan Dube was trying to do, to his credit,
No, which is exactly what you're
which is
supposed to.
absolutely fine.
It's
It's
exactly what
just,
you're supposed to do in that situation. Like you are not, like this is something to learn, especially in tournament things. Net run rate has already bit us in the back so many times in the last 10 years. It is better to play out the overs and waste time than getting bowled out extremely cheaply and trying to go for the score, which is obviously you're not going to get.
yeah, it saved us that we didn't need it in the group stages, but that could have been interesting had
Yeah.
one of the games been washed out. So,
Hmm.
all righty, we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.